read. No, because you're gonna be there at 6:30. I'll be way there by then. It's not hot, so I'm gonna go at like 5. Yeah. All right.
Sorry. Sparkling it up for you.
I sent you a text, did you get it? I got your own, oops, and everything else in my life.
Let me go check. He said he was forgotten.
I just wrote my name in. Well, yours, I'm checking yours. I think the text just came through.
Are they both regular? Yes, they are. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good, how was how Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah, good. But here's the so I've had this listed in my sentence. As soon as we're going to get we'll go back. So I was going to say that it was quiet a little bit. Yeah. Right. 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 Because she's smart. Yeah, she's young. I know. Right. Yeah, why would you do that? Yeah. Yeah. Belinda or somebody, yeah. Oh, good. So she'll go back. Good. I'm not going to talk because I'm going to do that. But there was no spread for us. And summer was ahead, and now it's just all of a sudden it's hot again. Like this is our summer. It's starting right now. For everywhere. I'm seeing so many listings go up. like we did not have a spring. I feel like now is when it's like July, August. It's a little slow, but now I feel like it's picking up. At least for me, it is. I haven't really and you know, I told you I went through that divorce. Went through a really bad divorce. It's been a year now. Ugh. Yes. I mean, I'll take any opportunity to do something. Yeah. It's good because it gets me out, gets me talking. But I was looking at MLS. Well, no, I was actually looking at MLS. I get all those. I'm sure you do too. Those email blasts about properties in the market. Well, they all go into spam. So I like to look at, and here's why. It gives you a glimpse of the market. 80% of the ones that I got were price reduction. Home is now priced to sell. What was it before? Was it priced to what? We've taken a huge reduction. Seller wants to sell this weekend. So I read those, and I think to myself, no wonder it's been because buyers don't have any trust in the process. But I don't think it's a bubble. I think it's a stabilization. And I think this last quarter, we're not in the last quarter yet, are we? 3 weeks. I think it'll be busy. I really do. I know. Well, and it just is like that. Well, my sisters.
Okay. Well, good luck with that.
You know, my sister's realtor, we have a guy about okay, well, where does she live? Orange County. Okay, well, here's a tip. I live there. I don't like to sell there. I don't sell there because it's hot. And I just don't like so I try to, I like Vista, I love Vista, I love some of the rooms, I love the house. Yeah. But you will, because you've been actively pursuing it. It'll all hit at one time, that's the thing. That's what happens. Once you do it, you just boom, 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 boom. And your areas are good because you can get business off business. See, Valley Center's as soon as I close one, the next one, close one, the next one. Is she in the foot? Oh yeah, how was that? Busy? Yeah, she asked me to this week, but I can't. I gotta do my own. I don't know. But I feel like once it's been on the market more than 2 weekends, it's not worth it. Yeah, it's not worth it. Her selling, or she's just listing it. It's one thing to do. She deserves it. I've done deals with her before. When I worked for her, I don't think she works for her. I think that she's smart, super smart. And she's got the Asian, that whole niche. That's what I think it is. And she's very, very polite. She's very sweet. And she's trustworthy. And she's very a rule follower. And yeah, it's not like or like oh my God. I did one too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. So I always say, because I have Asian kids. So they said that to me too. And I'm like, I have Asian kids. And they were like, wait, what? So we can and broke the ice if they did, but you can't get rid of them for too long. But yeah, they only want to deal with her. So it's that niche, I get it. I need to, but I can't. Is she? I gotta hear her. Yeah. She's so sweet. I love her. Yeah. And Tracy's, but Bert's really good on her too. And Tracy's good. She could care less if somebody shuts it on her face. She could, it doesn't even matter. She moves on. And I'm like, well, we're not. Yep. Yep. Me too. Me too. Say. Me too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. Well, what was his room? Oh dear. Right, you're not supposed to disclose that anyhow. That's what his realtors do. Right, right. Yeah. I know. I know. That's why you just have to get over it. It's so hard to take it so personal. Nothing, yeah. Right when you go to close. Yep, always. Yep. Oh, I know, always. I know. I know. No, I know. It is. I'm so dumb. I didn't read the caption of her email when you sent me that email. I just read, do you want to go to the meeting or whatever? And I wrote, oh, is it the CRF? Yeah. And then I went back over the email and I'm like, I'm an idiot. Everything is in the email. But I think I was like doing 10 things at one time that day. I'm just going to give myself a little, my horse, because the weather's been like this, and one of my horses, I thought he had called. Yeah, he didn't, thank God, but I thought he did. And I think it might have been during that time when I was watching him, because when they call it, yeah. So usually what I do is I just go put a halter and walk him, but what you do is you try to lower them in the horse trailer, because they always get nervous when they go on horse trailer. Yeah. But, and he did, so he was fine. But I also have Banamine on hand. I just put it in that. It's like injectable 10 cc's right now. So I was okay, but I thought this weather is just horrible for horses. It's been really bad for them. And they don't drink enough water. So I had that day, and then yeah, he's like really mellow, chill. No. That's what he seems like at the party. He just seems like he's like, well, I understand that. Like it, right, so then you just stay off that topic. Yeah. But for the most part, he's a good, right, he's not like that. You have the awesome daughter from. Right. It's not. And then it's been years, and people say, well, but wait, you were with him for, I was with him for 26 years. That's all I know. Since I was 24 years old. I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, he hasn't told me to get out. I haven't done anything. Do you use her coaching? Is she good? Is she good though? I mean, do you think she's good? She really good. I mean, I know she was an auction person or whatever. And I know she was number one in Christ, whatever it's called, Christ Church. And I know that. I know where she was on 9/11 here. Blogged about it on Facebook. And I know her son was getting recruited, and I know her daughter. I know. She leaves me. Does she leave me? What? She was always on this list. He said that he and I named some auctions, but I mean was I think removed because I think she's in Arizona. So he would kind of handle it. And he's new, but he's cool. Yeah. Weird. Right, when she was the auction person, yeah. When she drove around in the Hartford's van. Or car or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I do know and I don't know. I just, it's terrible. It's competitive, right? Where, lady, you're married, we have nothing in common. I'm not a virgin, you're not a virgin. And, oh, does she? Wilson? Oh, really? And what do they do? Why? Michael Jones, who I love, by the way. Who's married? Do you ever read the post on that? You don't read the post on that? Thank you, Co. And you're my number one student. Whatever. But he's a nice guy, isn't he? Yeah. And his wife is nice. She has nice lessons. I didn't think so. Okay. Okay, I wasn't sure if Michelle's nice though. Yeah, everybody's nice. Yeah, I like everybody except for. Yeah, but I think everybody's really nice. But I love Thomas Mark. I love everybody. There's so many people. So that's a good question. So I was one of the first people. But then I just got my license. I have no training, zero. And they, because I was one of the owner, the assistant, and the launcher of the broker, they just took to me, I think, because I was new to them. And they were so good to me. But, I mean, so like I had an office that everybody else was my own AC, close the door, we could have clients in that. They were so good to me. Really good leads, which he wasn't supposed to do, but he would. You know, your broker's not really supposed to do that. awesome. Like, say that the, final walkthrough wasn't turned in on the buy side, but I was representing the seller, technically. But I was so immersed with them and with my divorce and with my husband. And it was like a family thing. I had to separate myself because I felt like, even though my husband was living in here, he was white, and even though he didn't technically have anything to do with it, everybody knew, you know, I was there for 5 years. And I felt like I just needed to leave. And I cried. I went to Dave's office for an hour and a half. I cried. Oh, wait a second. Maui. I mean, it just depends which way the wind blows. Oh, he's gonna move to Big Island. Oh, was your friend on Gila? Or Kona side? What a mess. Is she okay? Did they have animals? Did the lava come into the house? I was gonna say they have a brand new floor. I don't know what you do, like, can you build a wall? I mean, no, right, the lava's, you know. Like, how would you protect your house? Like, with fire, you clear. But with the lava, yeah, and it comes fast. Oh, that's nice, that's what you do, build uphill. But yeah, so I like those only for that reason. Would I go back here? Sure. A lot. Like, I thought I knew a lot, but I've learned a lot. Yeah. Me too. Yeah. It has a reputation. But it's not. It's kind of like it's not. It's a legit. But it sounds like no, totally no. It's just like but they don't take as much money. It's a phone, but they have 550 words. So like, I had really great success with them. Like the last year I was there, it was my best year ever. And then 2017 went down. It started out really strong in 2017. Which I haven't. I'm supposed to say something. I said, are you still working for us? It'll come when it comes. Hopefully sooner than later. It's like being busy is a big deal. Yeah. Everybody left. My kids went to college all at the same time, and my kids don't like. I had 4 horses and down to 2. And it's a farm. Yeah. So, you know, I have to sort through that stuff. So, like at night, I have to feed, in the morning, I got to get up early. Yeah. I've kind of made it easy on myself. When it's cooler now, I don't have to do as much.
Because we're an official. This is my friend and coworker Nicole.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
You cut off all your hair. It's really fun.
It's good. It's nice and thick.
Good for you. I do this every couple years. Wow. Oh, wow. Cool. Low maintenance. Yeah. She lives in Dallas.
Oh, nice. You did? So if you go circle out and make a right onto West Lilac, I'm like the 4th house on the left. So I'm 3 miles from the freeway, and then you go across the freeway, and then San Marcos, pretty much. Or if I go for Canyon, I'm at Vista.
Old Castle.
Yes.
To the top, you know, with a little miniature airport, is that?
Yes.
Yeah, my property.
It is. That's a nice area. I like that.
My property was on just right past the airport. I was blanking on it.
I know. Me too. Was it on the left-hand side?
On the left
Yeah.
hand side.
What's the name of the street? I can't think of it either. And it's like a very well-known street.
I only lived there for 4 years, so you can
Kind of looking up.
They're building now across from your street.
Uh-huh.
So you know where the big house is with all the avocados, that's kind of hidden, that Spanish style one? And then next to it is the big paddock with the horses, and then next to it's like the airport. Right across there, they're building homes.
Oh, because it's kind of a whole flat, rolling.
Rolling Hills. Rolling
Drive.
Hills.
Hello.
Oh my God.
I know, that's like, Susan said rolling one.
Well, what's so bad is,
And so there was a kind of a whole area, kind of.
Well, no,
rolling.
it's
So
getting,
there- What do they call it? Have to be two acres.
no, I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on where I moved from Colorado. I lived in Colorado almost my whole life. I moved out to Valley Center so I could have space. The 2-acre moratorium, 2.5 acres is done. They're, well, Woods Valley is, you know, Woods Valley is the, over on the other side.
It's over there.
Yeah, that's not,
Yeah.
and then that Sierra Nevada or whatever it's called, project's gonna pass. Where, and then, I think so, and then they're building, you know where the cow used to live? They're building,
I know, we're talking about the center now.
So fun.
Tractors going down the street.
Totally.
I was living there like 6 weeks, and some neighbors said, "Hey, you use my tractor."
Yeah.
Sure, he comes down the tractor, roll with his tractor with the kids, and he threw in a couple of weed whackers and stuff.
yeah, that's how it is. It's not
Valley
uncommon,
Center.
not uncommon to see on nextdoor.com, lost, we found your duck. If you can identify it, call. I saw that the other day, and I was like,
Oh, yeah, and they really did. They brought me
Yeah.
flowers.
They're really nice.
Cookies, brownies, whatever. It's like, gosh. And then people would come up there, because I was living there by myself too. You need to go on there.
Oh, yeah,
People would be like,
or a big dog.
you'd have more risk living in this area than you have over there.
I know.
It's like a whole different world.
It's a whole different world.
Such a different world.
It is.
Charming in a way.
It's just a little piece of freedom, but they're building, and I'm telling you, they're gonna put in on the main drag where the cows used to be, they're gonna put in, it's called Park Circle Life or something like that. They're gonna build like 300 homes, they're gonna put in stores,
Right there?
Starbucks, yes. Well, we were in a drought now, we're not anymore, but,
See, I have a well for my property, a really good well.
wow, that's
I
nice.
told him to buy it.
I don't have a well in
Once I discovered I had a well, I said, well, all right, because I wanted to stick to the half acre, which is what I'm on now. But with a 3.5 acre with a well.
Yeah, that's nice. But I'll tell you what, solar, my electric bills, I live by
I
myself.
got ground solar out there.
I need
That
to.
kind of land, I put ground solar.
I need to.
No, it was a
Yesterday.
no-brainer.
Yeah, well, I'm the dumb one that has it, and I live single story by myself. My electric bill was $500 for last month. They fined me $250 for going over my kilowatts.
Well, in my house, 638 last month, and normally it's never
Where's
over 100.
in this town?
Right down the street.
It's because you got fined. Look at your bill. You got fined. You went over your kilowatts.
I've never in my
You got fined.
and I have
I'm telling you.
and that's what I did. I was 4 years I've never had a big bill.
Over 80.
Yeah, 89.
Look at your bill. You got fined.
So the last month it's at 445, and so now I have myself on the low side.
I know.
So now it looks like maybe this month I'll be somewhere between 250.
Me too. I'm hoping. But I called and I'm like, excuse me.
Oh yes, we're getting somewhere. Oh, yeah.
I was like, am I hooked up to somebody else's? Because I live by myself, I'm never here. And I live in a single story, it's not like I have to heat up the whole. And my house is not big.
This is safe.
It says, yeah, they sent me a letter and said you're getting a fine. So you know SDG may send you 100 letters, but you never open them because you know it's not the bill and you toss them. I happened to open it and it said you're getting a fine. So they fined me what my bill was $281 and then they fined it like $265. So it was $499. I know, is that crazy? Yeah.
Well, it was 638 was with the gas on it, but the electricity was 608.
Okay, but still, what are you doing? I mean, what are you running the AC 24/7? No.
And I mean, it was a two bedrooms upstairs.
Ah.
Don't say anything about HOA, of course you wouldn't, but I mean, it's just that whole thing is stupid.
And they were running.
So they were running, so they were taking this off. So that dropped it down to 425, which doesn't.
No, it's way high. Because you're missing one and they don't have TVs. It doesn't matter. Cumulatively, you went over your limit. They have tiers. I call them. And you went over. Yeah. And that's what happened.
I said, if I went back to the old, how much was I paying? $20. Which, you know, that is not something, you know, another SDG&E went up and their price is 45%.
But here's my thought.
And there's not saying anything about
No. Oh, in the winter, I don't have a bill. Mine's like $40. Nothing.
Well, in my, you know, so when I say high and low, my average is about 80, 70. I do. Almost 1,000 square foot house, but outdoor lighting stays on till midnight.
Yeah, but that's not what's burning.
No, I know.
They're ridiculous. Did you buy or lease your solar panels? Okay. Got it.
Well, I'm on it now. I was just wanting to see a couple of things worth just to see what it was going to be this year on my past bills. I'm going to stay too hard. Oh, yeah. Maybe some. One person living at 3,000 square foot is unrealistic. It's just been crazy. So I thought, okay, a couple of nights after the last one. I mean, they don't even have electronics and TVs and hair dryers and all that kind of stuff.
So quiet. I know they told you guys 10:30, but it's registration 10:31, so.
Oh, it doesn't start. No, it's not. It's 10:30. Can we start?
We're gonna get going, and even though the person who's supposed to start us off won't be here for 15 minutes, so we're gonna get going. I don't want to hold you guys. That's what it said. Okay. Sure that works. Let her know we're gonna wait.
Did you walk up and not live there for a month? Was it 20?
I know. So proportionally, now you went up and up to 4 years.
That's awesome.
We have no control.
And I must be wrong. I would say everybody's buying solar. Okay, yeah. We should raise our rates because. But yeah, I know. But if they were so they get into the solar business.
No, they're required to percentage of, you know.
Eventually,
in your.
but eventually you're going to be able to.
Oh, anymore?
But I heard eventually you are going to be able to. I heard that in like 2
Okay,
years, they're releasing.
Again, we were told to be here for 11 o'clock presentation, so I thought I was really setting up. So we're gonna get going because I know a lot of you are here and appreciate you being here. So, Raylene's supposed to start us off,
Just show us.
but when she comes, we'll just have her finish up the presentation. So, let's start with how we got here and why we're here. Next week, it feels like we've been doing these forever. Next week is actually the day that things are going to change, but not change. And that'll make sense to you as we go on. So the reason that we're here, the reason that our association is switching from Sandacor to CRMLS is there's a couple different reasons. One is philosophical. Give you a little bit of history. Right now, Sandacor, or MLS, is owned by 3 associations: North County, PSAR, and San Diego. Those 3 associations have been governing Sandacor for years, and the last couple of years, there was a divide, philosophical divide about a couple things. Primarily, who owns the data? Who owns the listing? Who has the rights to monetize that listing? Who has the rights to get leads off of that listing? In North County, we have always believed that you as agents work your tails off, and just to give you a background, my name is Chris Hasvold. I'm a broker at Coldwell Banker Village Properties in Fallbrook and Bonsall. So I'm an active broker. I've been in the business 39 years now. So we're out there working every day. I have been on the board of directors at North County and for 6 years, and then I am a Sandacor board of directors now. So I've been involved in this whole process at Sandacor, winding it up. So North County has always believed that the broker owns the data. You guys work hard, we work hard to get a listing. And when your seller hires you to take that listing, they want you to market the property. If someone's interested in that property, wouldn't it make sense that you got that lead to answer those questions? As opposed to somebody who's never seen the property and maybe even never been to your area, right? So North County's always believed that you, as the agent or the broker, should get that lead. And if there's money to be made off of that, it should come back to you. What I mean by that is, right now, when you submit a listing to, I'm going to use Zillow for all of them. You submit a listing to Zillow, the licensing agreement that you sign with them, that you never read, none of us ever do, we just click the button to move on, right? Because we're busy. The licensing agreement that you sign with them says that you now give them, Zillow, the rights to that data and those photos. That Zillow owns them. Doesn't just have the right to use them, they own them and can do whatever they want with them. They can repackage that and sell it and monetize it and sell it to moving companies and whatever they want to do. And they make money off of them. And you get nothing. That doesn't make sense to us. North County has believed that you own the data, so if it's monetized, you should get that, whatever compensation right in those rates. One of the associations that was an owner of Sandacor didn't believe that. They thought that the association had the right to make money off those leads, to direct where they go, and that divide caused us to have a split and therefore a lawsuit, and that's why we're separated. Because we want to go to CRMLS. CRMLS believes what we believe. They are the state-endorsed, statewide MLS. CAR has said, we believe there should be one MLS in the state. Therefore, as agents, you pay one fee, right? Not multiple ones if you're working in different areas. There ideally should be one set of rules, one lockbox system, one everything. Nothing more frustrating for me as a broker than when I get a call from one of our customers that says, hey, we found this property online. We asked our agent about it in your company, and they don't know anything about the property. They can't find it unless we go outside of the MLS to a competitor, Zillow, right? Doesn't portend well for our industry when our customers have access to more information than we do, right? So ideally, if there's one MLS throughout the state, then you have more information than your customers do. Novel concept, right? CRMLS is the largest MLS, not only in the state, but in the country. And it covers about 70% to 80% of all the listings in the state. That's pretty big. Okay? So philosophically, that's why we are where we are today. PSAR and North County, 2 of the 3 owners wanted to go join CMLS, the other didn't, the split. So what will happen is, next Wednesday, the 19th, there will be 2 MLSs in the county. Right now, there are 2, Sandacor, and about 25% of the North County members are also members of CMLS, so that they get that additional coverage. Once we join our CMLS, you will not need to pay 2 fees. You'll only pay 1 MLS fee, and that will give you access to about 80% of the listings and about 90% of the agents in the entire state to market your homes to.
So if you're a member of the North County Association of Sandacor right now, do we have to do something in writing to switch to CRMLS, or it will be done automatic for us?
No, it'll be done automatic. Okay, now, I know you've got lots of questions. As we go through the presentation, I think most of them will be answered, but I don't want you to not ask your question. So if you can hold on to them, and it's not answered, we'll have plenty of time at the end to do that, okay? Because we've done, gosh, it feels like 100 of these. We've done a whole bunch of these presentations, and the same questions keep coming up, and I know that they get answered. So hold them if you can, okay, but you'll have plenty of time to ask those. Okay, so the big picture is that's why we are where we are today. And a couple of years ago, we did symposiums around the county with groups like this and asked them who owns the data, right? Do you want to be part of statewide MLS? All of those questions, and overwhelming response was yes. We couldn't do that without another association's permission. They didn't give it, so we had to split the lawsuit. Okay, that's big picture. Okay, as of September 19th, that's next Wednesday, we will become, any member of North County or PSAR will automatically become a member of CMLS. Sandacor, as you know it, will cease to exist next Wednesday. Okay? So, I know some of you are going like, oh my gosh, right? I see it in your eyes. So, here's what I want to tell you. A couple years ago, well, actually it's been 5 years ago now, how many were around with Tempo? We used Tempo. We had to switch to Paragon, right? That was difficult, right? Everyone had to learn a new system. In order to prevent that this time, we decided to come up with a different plan, and most of you who don't like change thrust upon you don't have to worry about anything, because you won't notice any difference. Okay? On the 19th, you'll log in, and the only difference you'll see is one of those great EULAs will pop up, the box that says, you know, read this whole 22 pages, and you say, click here, you approve it. You click the button once, and you're in Paragon, the same Paragon that you're using today. Same searches are same contacts and everything. You won't have to do anything.
Good job.
Okay. So here's the thing about change. When you're the one making the change, right, it's a lot easier. When change is thrust upon you, it becomes difficult, right? So the analogy I use is you have to get a new cell phone. A lot of people will go to the Verizon store, they trade their old phone in, they get their new one, and the person behind the counter loads their contacts, gets them online, and that's it. The person goes off, they use their phone, and that's all they want to know. How do I use my phone every day? Right? How many people are like that? Just give it to me and let me work. Okay. There's the next group of change that wants to take the new phone home, and they'll spend 2 or 3 days going through the manuals, online tutorials, videos. They'll go, wow, this is great, and really get into it. How many of you are like that? How many of you ever get a new phone? Okay. The third group is the people that actually want to take the cell phone home and take it apart to see how it works. Anybody like that? Good, because I can't help you. Right? We have no solution for you guys. We have designed this so either type of change personality you are, if you're going to love this, right? It'll either just be business as usual, no change, or if you want to make some changes, you'll have tools and systems, great stuff that you can't even believe how cool it is by joining CRMLS. Right? I'm kind of between 1 and 2. I'll go home and I'll spend some time learning it, but then I won't use any of it for a couple weeks and I'll forget how to do it. Right? But that's okay. We've got you covered too. Okay. Right now, how many of you guys go to sandecor.com to get the MLS? Okay. Stop doing that today. Okay. Because next week it's not going to work. The best way to get to your MLS is to go to your association website. If you're members of North County, you go to nsdcar.com. This is what the website looks like, almost. This just says Paragon right now. So if you go to nsdcar.com, the screen you see is this. If you want to just go to the association website for whatever you want there, you click on that button. If you want to go to Paragon, you click on that button. So that's how you'll get to the MLS from now on. So start doing that today, get in the habit of that. Okay. When we join CMLS, you'll have another option to use their MLS system, Matrix. Anybody use that right now?
I have.
Okay.
Try not to.
We're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that. Okay, so I don't want to lose you with a technicality, but just bear with me here. Right now, CMLS has an MLS system. It's called Matrix, and that's what they've used for years. It, to me, is like trying to use your computer using DOS. C:\\\, whatever, C.
Ditto.
I don't want to know that code, right? I want pretty easy pictures and click a button here. That's what Paragon is. Matrix is extremely robust and does a lot of great things. In fact, the largest retailer in the world, Walmart, still uses DOS. Because it's back end. It's got a couple little bells and whistles, but it's a DOS-based system for Walmart, believe it or not. So it's capable, it just isn't sexy or fun or easy to use, right? But it's a great tool. Paragon is more user-friendly. And when Sandecor had a contract years ago at Tempo, it had run its course. They were looking for a new system, right, for the agents, and so they did a bunch of test groups like this and tried several different, there's probably 20 different MLS systems. And overwhelmingly, our members came back and said Paragon is the best at that time. So that's why they signed a contract. But because Sandecor, while it's a large MLS, it's still only 15,000, 18,000 members, it could only provide one system. So if you're in Sandecor, you have Paragon as your only option. That's it. Okay. CMLS is taking a different approach. What they're saying is, we all in this room couldn't agree what color this wall is. So how are we going to agree on using one software system, right, for everybody? So CMLS's approach is, we're going to have all the data down here. That doesn't change. The data is the data. But we're going to provide multiple ways for agents to access that, depending on what their preference is. If you like DOS, right, great, use Matrix. If you like pretty and sexy a little bit, they'll use Paragon. If you like really, really cool, doing Google searches for your MLS, there's a new one called Cloud MLX they'll be offering that's going to blow you away. It's really slick. And that's just the beginning, because they're going to offer multiple ways. And the reason they'll be able to do that is because, think about this, they're the largest MLS in the country. They'll have 140,000 agents, right? How many software companies would love to create the newest, best widget when you have a built-in audience like that? So they're creating competition to encourage better design of the software, and they'll offer that to you guys. So if ultimately you'll be able to do, one day I want to use Matrix because I like some of the tools there, the next day I want to use Paragon, the next day I want to use Cloud MLX, you'll be able to interchange those down the road, or whatever else comes up. That's going to be pretty slick. So it's a different mindset and a different capacity because they're so large. Sandecor couldn't do that. Okay. So what's happening is right now, CMLS just has Matrix. They're building a Paragon version for their members because they've seen what our Paragon is and say, hey, that's not bad, right? Their version is going to be a little bit different than ours because ours is really 5 years old. Theirs will be a little bit different, have a few more bells and whistles, right? But it's going to be their version. They're also to accommodate us. And you have to see the magnitude here. CRMLS has rolled in several associations over the years to get to the size they are. This is the first time they've ever allowed an existing MLS to bring their system with them. So the technology involved in that is pretty significant. To take our exact version, copy it, and put it through their system. So for those of you that don't want any change, right? Your Paragon will work. It is your Paragon. It's not like it will work the same. It is your version of Paragon. So nothing will change. Okay, so that's the big picture. Okay, remember, go to nsdcr.com. That's how you get the MLS. You'll have your choice of the two. When you log in, right now, what you see is everything except for this red box.
Yeah.
Right? You see Paragon and all the things to log in. What you will have available to you next week is everything that's in this red box. And that's really cool. We're going to talk about some of these today. Raylene just came in. I know. We started early because...
Yeah, no, I heard.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I'll have you finish
Yeah,
up.
no.
Okay. So you're gonna have all these great new tools come next week. Okay. In doing this, CRMLS had their set of rules that you operated under, and so did Sandicor. Most of those rules are identical because they're CAR rules. So they're mostly identical. There's a couple of variations, and when we were in the mindset of no change, we'll keep the same Paragon version, we'll keep the same rules, so it makes it really easy, right? We started comparing what the differences are in the rules, and every group that we talked to said, why do we have to wait for their rules? Why can't we use them now? They're better than what we have. So we said, you know what, you're right. So that's been in the works for about 2 months now. And as of the 19th, a couple of the most significant rule differences, we're going to implement theirs right off the bat. We'll talk about those. So how many of you guys love mandatory input of room sizes before you steal this? Anybody like that? I defy any of you in the open concept floor plan to figure out where the dining room ends and the family room begins. Right?
Yep.
And more importantly, the liability of putting it in correctly. You put 13 by 15, somebody else says, no, it's 14 by 14. I mean, you could have a problem with that. Right? So if you want to put room sizes in, you can. But as of the 19th, there will be no mandatory requirement to put room sizes in. That's pretty good. Right? The next one, and I know it applies around the county. In Fallbrook and Bonsall, we deal with this a lot. We have properties that can be considered a ranch, a grove, a single family. It might have a house and a couple of detached guest houses. It could be investment property. There's lots of different things it could be. But you're limited to marketing your property in one property type at the exclusion of the others. Your seller says, why we're missing out opportunities. People aren't searching, right? Or something as simple as condo or townhouse. Right? Somebody puts it as condo, you're searching townhouses, it's not showing up. So in order to, today in Sandicor, in order to advertise or market your property in multiple property types, you have to ask for a variance. Anybody gone through that process? Lovely, isn't it? Right? You put in your request, you say, here's what I want to do and here's why, and you get denied. That's the process. CRMLS does not do that. They don't require variances. You have the option as an agent and your seller to market the property how you see fit. Right? It could be the property I described. It could be a ranch and a grove and an investment property and a single family house. It can be all of those things. So I'm going to enter my listing in all of those property types. And that's okay to do. You're going to expose your property to more people, which makes sense. That's our goal, right? That's what the MLS is designed to do. The only caveat is when you report it sold, you don't report it sold under each property type, because that skews the comps. It only sells as one type. You determine what that is. And in my opinion, that's more based on what the buyer's intended use was.
That makes sense.
Right?
So,
Because right now you have even something as simple as a house with a detached guest house. That could be a 2-unit, easily, investment property. They're gold, right? I rent the house out as a guest house. But I can't do that now under property types if it's just residential. But I report it to me, and you have your own choice here. If the buyer's buying it as investment property, that's how I would report it sold. If they're buying as a single family house and their kids are gonna live in the house, I report it as single family. But that's the only caveat. You don't have to ask for a variance. You can put it in multiple property types, you report it under sold.
So if you have it, like a single family and a duplex, and it sells,
You cancel one or the
you
other.
cancel it.
You cancel it. Yeah, so it only reports sold as once. Good point. And you reference in the MLS, when it sells, you say this was also, here's how you make sure that the appraisers and the rest of us can understand that. It was also listed under this MLS number as single family.
Problem
Put
with
that in the remarks and so.
cancellations is that the sellers get hit with a lot of phone calls whenever there's a cancel listing.
Yeah.
So hopefully
Right,
people
don't
will
call.
read the.
Hopefully it's the new buyers that are in there, and other sellers. And they're gone, so, yeah. It's a small price to pay to be able to expose your property the way it should be exposed,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So those are the two significant ones. There's one other we'll briefly talk about. There's a little bit of a twist to it. The other thing that makes more sense to me, right now, if you have a listing in Sandport and you get an offer that has contingencies, which 99% has some contingency or another, what are your requirements to report it in Sandport? It has to go pending, right? What happens when it reports pending to the market,
Can't see it.
right? Third-party sites, the Zillows, the Realtor.coms, it doesn't show up. Right? So you've got lots of contingencies. Wouldn't your seller prefer to have it still available to be seen, right? So right now, Sandacor has active, contingent, but contingent only works if it meets two criteria. Either it's contingent upon the sale of a home or court approval. There's lots of other contingencies, right? So you have active, contingent, pending, sold. CRMLS says active, active under contract, pending, sold. If you report it active under contract, it still shows up on the third-party sites. Big difference.
Yeah.
Then when all the contingencies are removed, then you report it pending, and then you report it sold.
So we can change that on the 19th if we have one right now that's currently pending?
No. Well, here's where I don't want to lose the people, that first group that says, I just want to operate the same way, nothing wants to change. Don't pay attention to me for the next 5 minutes. Okay, because I don't want to scare you or confuse you. Right now, if you decide, I just want to use my Paragon, I have all these contacts, I have these searches saved, I have all this stuff, I don't want to change, then you have to then stay with your version of Paragon. But that active under contract won't be available to you.
For 2 years.
For 2 years.
Wait.
The reason is, we still share our MLS with San Diego MLS for 2 years,
Okay.
right? And that's a business rule. We actually have to have a software change programming to change the statuses. Unless they agree to make that change, and then we hire the programmers and do that, it's not gonna happen for 2 years. But if you're the type that says, you know what, I don't have a lot of searches saved, or even if I do, it's time to go through and clean those out, because most of those aren't even in existence anymore, the clients are gone, you can jump to their version of Paragon soon, and then have access to Matrix and all the other stuff, and then, yes, you'll be under that rule. Okay?
So I can't bounce back and forth, I actually have to choose one or something.
Yes. Short answer is yes for right now. Okay, and I'll talk to you afterwards, because it's really easy to take us off course, and then everybody says, wait a minute, I didn't understand that. For most of you, you're going to want to just operate the way you're doing today, and that's great. And I don't want you, this is what I've told my agents in my office. Your business is to go sell homes, right? Don't get mired down in all of this stuff right now. Just keep doing your thing, do your business, and then at some point, if you decide, you know what, I want to explore and take advantage of some of these other things, then you can make that change. Okay? But I don't want you to get sidetracked in the next week, right? Focusing on this and not doing your business. Okay? Okay. Here's what you have today. Right now, Sandacor has a data share with CRMLS. We've had that for a year.
Since May of last year.
Since May of last year. And what that has meant is that you put your listing in Sandacor right now, and since last May, it's been exposed to the 38 participating MLSs that you have a handout that are in your blue circle there. And it's actually this list right here. So right now you have access to all of those people. They see your listings and you can see theirs. There's 38 participating. And while that doesn't look like much on the map, you think about where those areas are, that's about 70% of the listings in the entire state. Okay, that's what you have access to today. Next, and that's 100,000 or more listings and about 93,000 agents throughout the state. Okay. What you will have soon is this additional 17 data shares. And this is where I want you to stay with me here, because if we're part of the group, if we're in this middle circle here on your chart, we're part of those 38, you can see everything. They can see yours. All 38 participating associations and their agents can see everybody. What's different is a data share can't see a data share. Which means right now, these are the areas that will only have a data share. So if you're in Beverly Hills, you won't see a San Diego listing, because that's a data share and San Diego will be a data share. The people in the desert won't be able to see yours or you see theirs, right? So if you're not part of CMLS, all of these right now, as of next Wednesday, will be excluded. They won't be able to see yours or you'll be able to market to them. We, however, because we're part of that, we'll get to see everything. Does that make sense? So think about it this way. Most of you have IDX that feeds your website, right? IDX, the MLS, automatically sends listings to your website, updates it. You don't have to even do anything. It just happens for you. If you have a client right now that's looking outside of your market area, and your website doesn't have those listings, what does your client have to do?
Go somewhere else.
Leave your website, go somewhere else, and they may not be coming back. Right? Yes?
Yeah, but I just want to point out that I would rather not other realtors in LA have access to our MLS down here in San Diego, because I've been seeing a lot of CRMLS listings that are listed by realtors in LA. So because my clients aren't going up to LA, LA's coming down here, so that hurts my business down here. So that's my take on it. And I have just one other question too. Is this new Paragon system going to be anything like Sync or Boomtown? That's my other question. These are my only two questions I have.
Those are CRMs. They're contact management, Boomtown stuff. It's not an MLS, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about just the MLS here.
Okay, because the San Diego Association of Realtors is coming out with a similar system that's going to be like Sync and like Boomtown, where people are looking onto your listing and you see what they're looking at via text, because I used Sync before, via text or email, and it alerts me when they're looking at it. Unlike the Paragon system, that's very inefficient to me right now, and there's a lot of steps to get to where I need to get a drip going. Instead of just add new client, boom, put them down, I get text messages to see what they're looking at. Are any of your systems for the North County Association of Realtors going to be like that? Or are we just looking at more of the same that we've had?
There'll be lots of things that CMLS will provide. We're going to get to that in a couple of screens. Okay. To answer your other question, I used to think that protecting our data was important. But what I realized is
Miami, I'm a realtor in Miami too, and
people have access to it everywhere. Our clients already have access to that.
Redfin.
The Redfin or Zillow, or they have access to it. We don't.
yeah.
So for me, I'd much rather have access to it in the MLS system, so at least I'm the professional, as opposed to saying,
Yeah.
I can't help you, client, or I have to go out to Zillow to find out about that
Right.
property to be able to help you.
That's another way of looking at it.
Yeah.
To me, it's non-beneficial.
Well, I understand. One of our agents,
running up to LA to move to LA.
one of our agents just had a big expensive listing in Sandacor, wasn't getting shown. They put it in CRMLS, and within 2 weeks, an agent from Beverly Hills came down and sold the listing. So, to me, is that a benefit?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have had a listing
The
sold.
people, the buyers in LA can see the, listings through Redfin, Realtor.com, through Trulia. They can see it any which way, but then they would be calling us directly rather than grabbing it, another agent from up there.
I don't know.
I'm just,
That's an
Okay.
argument.
I understand.
I'm just saying
I
that,
get it.
to me, reciprocation with LA doesn't benefit the realtors down here, because there's already enough realtors down here, and then now you're bringing in more realtors
Okay.
through CRMLS who are taking our listings here in San Diego. And I have a license in Miami, Florida too, and people in Broward County couldn't get listings in Dade County unless they paid to get onto that MLS, and there was a lot of steps to get them to be able to get the listing.
I understand.
I like that better.
There's different
That's all
points of
I'm
view.
saying.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, so that's what we have now, is 38 and 17. So if you have IDX that feeds your website, you just now broaden your appeal, so your customer might not have to leave your website, right? They can stay with you and they can find properties in other areas, right? In my opinion, that just makes your IDX that much more valuable, your website, okay? Okay, here's some of the tools, and I want to make sure that we're clear on some of the acronyms we use, because we deal with this every day, and you guys may not understand the difference here. CRMLS is the MLS, and it's going to provide you a lot of free member benefits if you belong to them. Your association that you belong to also offers you benefits, right? Being a member of North County, there's 2 benefits that you probably haven't heard of or probably aren't using that you should be today. One that the association provides is the tech support hotline. Anybody use that? Great. We get about 12% usage, and that's more than in this room. It's an 800 number that you can call. It's an association of Florida that only helps, so it does tech support for realtors across the country. So if you have a problem at home, you get a new printer, you need help hooking up your printer to your laptop, you call this number and they can do it for you remotely. With your phone, you get a virus on your computer. If you get a new phone, you want to put contacts. Anything technology like that, it's free, unlimited usage. Right? It's amazing.
Do you have that number?
I'm sorry.
Do you have the number? For what?
I will get it to you. It's on the website. It's on NSDCR's website.
Copy of your slide, do we have to,
Okay.
which one?
It's an amazing member benefit. The other one, how many people have you heard of Inman newsletter?
Yes.
Okay, best industry news you can get. I was paying $199 a year for Inman, and now our association offers it to its members for free. So if you use a 1 or 2 tech calls a month, which most people would, and you get Inman, there's probably $300 or $400 a month, right, in savings, and our entire fee for the year for our association is $145. It's a pretty good deal.
You give them enough time.
It's 866-829-1443.
Thank you. I have a question, will you be providing these slides to us, or do I need to write this down, all down, because some of this is really useful.
Somebody else start.
It's in the
We can-
packet, 866.
Most of it should be in your packet that you have. Yeah. If not, I can.
866-829-1443, and I believe it's on the sheet that has the benefits for us. It's on there.
Thank you.
Okay, so again, that's just association benefits. Here's the stuff that you're gonna get that you don't have now if you join CRMLS, when you join CRMLS next week. Cloud CMA, anybody using that right now? Nice, paying for it? You won't have to pay for it anymore. Cloud MLX is the new MLS system that is gonna just change the way you even think about doing your MLS. It will be offered for free and integrate completely with Cloud CMA. Cloud Streams, want you to talk about that real quick?
Yeah. So,
Collaborative.
one of the things, good morning, by the way, I'm sorry, I'm coming in here a little late. I thought I was on time. But anyway, the Cloud Streams, a lot of people were asking about something that would replace the Collaborative Center, you know, where you go on, you do the searches.
collaboration.
I don't think it's really all that great.
not.
It's a link.
not.
I had a client who complained and he's like, well, I'm in Texas and it's much better. And so this would replace that. You don't lose anything that you have. So if you like the collaborative center, keep using it. I don't like it. Cloud Streams is something that will actually send the searches, and it pops up with pictures of the, somebody using it. I see somebody nodding like they know. But what it does is it sends them an email that looks much more professional and sexier with pictures of the properties, not just a link. And so that would be a good replacement for that. And honestly, through the process of this, Chris and I have learned a lot of these products that we weren't familiar with from other people that are in the audience that have been using it and have been paying for it. And that's how we frankly have learned to be able to share some of this stuff with you, and that's one of them. So that's a good product.
Fully integrated with Cloud Analytics. When you do a search, it sets it up. I mean, it's just really going to be a slick operation, and all provided as part of your dues. So with no additional fees for that. Yes.
Are these just on drop-down menus and on our resources?
It's going to be.
In that box.
Yeah, where are they? Are they in the box?
Yeah, it will be.
It's going to be in this
On
box
your dashboard.
right here. Okay, yes.
I've heard a lot about Lion Desk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can speak to that.
That's supposed to be a big deal. What's that do? You know,
It's a CRM, and it is, Raylene just got, a lot of agents that we've talked to, paying $25 a month for it now and love it as a CRM. Lion Desk, right? It's gonna be offered as a free benefit to CRMLS. If you're paying $25 a month, you won't have to do that anymore.
And that, they're negotiating that, that's why the asterisk, a lot of people think that they're gonna be charged. It just means that they're negotiating and it's coming. But I actually have reached out to Lion Desk. I didn't know they're in Carlsbad, so I'm gonna learn, because I think what we need to do is actually start showing you what it looks like, what it does. And they've sent me some information on that, but the reason I did that is because people who were in the audience said it was just phenomenal and they love it. Some people actually joined other MLSs in order to get this because it's cheaper as a benefit, even though they weren't using the MLS, to get it through them than to pay the $25 a month. So, but it's supposed to be great. I'm learning right now myself.
So it's a great tool. You can see, I'm gonna talk about one of them. Anybody heard of Remind? Great. Okay. Remind is one of the greatest marketing tools I have ever seen in my 38 years, but it's also one of the creepiest. Okay? But it's going to save you lots of money and time. So, here's Remind. If you do a search today, you're on Google, you do a search for shoes, what starts popping up as ads all around your searches? Right? Advertisers love that because what they're able to do then is market to people who are interested in their product. They pay a premium because you've expressed an interest, as opposed to blanketing everybody who may have no interest in shoes. So if you, and just the creepy part is, somebody out there is watching and listening to everything that you do and say online, and they track that, right? There's billions of data points out there, and somebody is putting all this together and building a profile on you, right? The benefit of that is you get to see what you're interested in. The other part of that is like, ooh, I have no more privacy. But think about this. You have a neighborhood, and you want to market to this neighborhood. It's a geographic farm. And you have 400 homes in this farm. You can go and send direct mail postcards to all 400, hoping you get maybe a 3 or 4% hit. Right? Very expensive to try and get a 3 or 4% hit, but you have to do it because you don't know. You don't know who's going to be interested in buying or selling. But what if there was a program that showed you graphically of those 400, who's most likely to move in the next 6 months, or 12 months, or 18 months? And what if there's 10 of those 400 that, based on their activity, are more likely to sell in the next 6 months? Wouldn't it be great to focus on those 10 as opposed to having to spend money on all 400? Okay? So here's an example, and this is exactly what it looks like. This is a neighborhood, and the ones in blue, this is the sales score, are likely to move in the next 6 to 12 months. So you get to look at that, you click on the button, and up pops all their information for you to reach out to them. Right? This program is offered as a free member benefit. You cannot get this anywhere else. I'm part of Coldwell Banker, which is part of Realogy, which owns Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's, C21, Better Homes and Gardens, Zip Realty. It's the largest real estate franchisor in the world. We can't get it, right? It's only offered through MLS. CRMLS, being the largest MLS in the country, right, with its size, was able to negotiate a heck of a price, so they offered free to you. And what they're offering is probably more than you would ever use as a free package. But if you want to start doing significantly more marketing, you can actually pay on top of that to have all kinds of other tools. Okay? But basically, for most of you, the base model is going to be more than you'll ever need, and it's free. Okay, so say you have, here's the creepy part. Part of your farm is a condo project. And you have a couple that's living in a condo project in a one-bedroom place. And they go out to CVS and they buy a pregnancy test.
No way.
That's creepy.
Oh, wow.
That's one of the data points
No.
that's used, in addition to maybe they're online looking at properties, doing different things. They build this profile to say, based on these activities,
They're
these
moving
people are most likely to move in the next 6 months.
Wow.
Would it be cash?
I'm sorry?
So would we have access to see that they went to see
There
Do you want to see that?
Too much.
But
No.
you have others, that's just a Salesforce search. You can search by properties that are owned free and clear, right? Because they might be a potential buyer. They have lots of cash, they can go buy a house. You can search by properties that, by their interest rate on their loans. They might have a 6% rate. You might have a lender deal that you want to say, let's target these guys for refinance. You can search by how long they own the home, how long, I mean, all kinds of criteria. It's amazing how many filters you have to focus down to a specific group to market to. That's pretty cool. You guys are going to love that. That's available to you, CRMLS. Cloud MLX, we briefly talked about. If you can do a Google search today, you can use this. It's that intuitive. I want a 3-bedroom home in this area or whatever, and boom, up pops your properties. It is amazing. That's going to be available, not immediately, but they're in beta right now, so it'll probably be a couple months. But I predict that none of you will use Paragon or Matrix or anything else in 4 or 5 years who's going to be using this. Okay. They got great training. If you're a broker, you can request training. You know, they'll come out to your office. 7-day-a-week tech support for MLS. Don't have that now, right? That's a nice advantage. IDX. Okay. As I said, for the no change changers, on September 19th, your IDX will work just fine. You don't have to do anything. However, if you want to take, but it's still going to be limited to the Sandacor property. If you want to take advantage of that additional marketing area, which you will, you'll want to fill out this form and send it to CRMLS. You can send it now, so that when the change happens, you're already in the system, and your market area will expand to all the properties with 38 participating and 17 data sheets. So this form is available on the CRMLS website. And you just download it, sign it. There's no fee for this either. Your IDX will be expanded with no fee from CRMLS. Now there might be a fee for whoever hosts your website. If they have to do a programming change to say, look here instead of over here, there might be a fee, but that's whatever you negotiate with your website hosting company. Okay.
Is there supposed to be an N?
Yeah, it's actually down here.
Oh,
Solution. Sorry.
Chris,
Yeah.
with that form, do we need to then stop paying to Sandacor and pay CRMLS? I mean, we're paying, if you're paying 2 fees right now to have access to both, which should you make the decision on? Should you go to CRMLS?
You'll go to CRMLS. As of next Wednesday, there will be no Sandacor. You
I
will go to
understand
CRMLS.
that.
So you will only be billed 1 MLS.
One MLS, so they
You will
won't
no
bill
longer
you.
have 2 MLS fees,
Thank you,
right?
thank you.
Now, if you want to, that's if you're a North County or PSAR member, right? If you're SDAR, That's different. They're gonna have their own MLS.
Okay.
But understand that there'll be a data share, so you still don't have to put your listing in twice. You only put it in once, and it'll still populate the SD website, or the SD MLS. Okay, so there's no duplication, but you're only paying one fee now.
What I found though, and I have to ask this question, and it might come up, if you are a member of both and you've got listings in both counties, Riverside and San Diego, when a client, I told a client I have 6 listings, he said I only found 2. Well, he was looking at my 2 in CRMLS. My Sandicor or my San Diego listings were not showing up.
That's not gonna happen.
Thank you.
You'll input it once, and everyone's gonna be able to see it.
Okay, thank you
Okay.
very much.
Yeah, one MLS fee, that was the goal, right? Why do we want to have to pay multiple MLSs? One MLS covers everything. So you won't be billed from Sandicor anymore. Your bill will come from CMLS, it'll be $129, and that'll be your MLS fee, right, going forward, and that's it. Yes?
What if you paid your dues for the year?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that, we got a special for you, okay? You don't have to worry about it, you won't get billed twice, okay? One thing we haven't talked about is, lockbox,
Yes.
Oh, boy.
okay? It's really not gonna change from what you have now. Right now, San Diego County uses Central Lock.
Yep.
CRMLS other areas uses Super.
Yep.
Those contracts stay in place. They've been in place for years, they're not going away.
Okay.
So if you just want to have a central lock box on your listing down here, keep it on there. If you, however, want to take advantage of all this additional exposure and give agents who are not central lock users the ability to come down and show your property on lockbox, you might want to put a super box on it as well. You don't have to, but you can do that. You will, if you want to show property in both areas, you will have to have a key or the app. But you have to have that now. That doesn't change, right? So nothing's really changing. It just gives you the option to have more exposure, especially if you have a vacant house down here. Why would you put 2 lockboxes on it as opposed to having to give somebody a 1-day code to show it, and it's just that much more work. The beauty of that is now North County is a service center for CMLS, so you don't have to go to Temecula to get that lockbox anymore.
Oh, nice.
You go to any of our service centers and you can get both Supra and Central lock boxes.
Okay.
Today, you can do that.
Nice.
What's the rule on the 4-digit just punch-in code lock boxes that everybody seems to be going
They
to?
use their phone now, they don't use that anymore.
They're getting frustrated not having the right lock box, so they just get a combo lock and put it on and make it simple for everybody.
Like a
Calm down.
contractor.
Well, that's a broker issue.
Okay,
In my company, I don't let my agents
Yeah,
use it.
agreed.
okay.
I don't have any way of tracking who's coming and going and stuff, so to me, it's a liability issue.
It is.
I'm not allowing my agents to put those on.
Agreed.
Okay.
With this, you can have both boxes, you still can track who's coming and going and for your
Okay.
seller's protection.
On the same platform.
Yeah, there's not really a big, CRMLS doesn't make a big issue of this because the technology exists today to do away with all of our lock boxes. So there's gonna be a new box that isn't gonna be super central lock, it's gonna be
It'll be fingered.
universal and so I wouldn't worry about that, there's really nothing changing, you just have more appeal and more opportunity to have other people show your property.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, yes,
Are we still paying the $15 a month though, right?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. Your MLS key, whatever you're paying, I'm paying $14.95 for my app up in CRMLS, and I'm paying for my app down here as well.
We pay for those.
Yeah,
Keep-
because I choose to have both. Again, if you're just selling stuff down here and you only want to have central lock, just pay the one. You don't have to do 2. So that's not changing. Okay. Last slide for here, and I'll have Raylene talk about the goodies, is you're going to have a choice next week to belong to CRMLS or SDMLS. Okay, San Diego's going to have an MLS. You have to understand that you have what's called association of choice and MLS of choice. You can belong to whatever association you want to. If you're a San Diego association member and you like what they offer as an association, you can stay there as a member. But if you don't like the limitations on their MLS, you can get your MLS through us at North County. and be part of CMLS. So you have that option. You can get your MLS anywhere. You can get it from Orange County. You can get it anywhere that the CMLS covers, right? Doesn't make sense to me why you wouldn't want to get here, but you can. So our belief is that our association provides great benefits with the tech support hotline, and then in addition to just being good people and great service, right? So we think you should be a member of North County Association and get your MLS through us here. But you'll have a choice. San Diego's starting their own MLS. CMLS has over 100 years of experience running an MLS. In fact, the largest MLS in the country. That's pretty good, right? In addition to all those great benefits we talked about, right? All the tools, all the great support, all that wonderful stuff, that comes with CMLS.
And the other thing, this is a more recent development. A lot of the people who have been doing the training for Sandacor were hired by CRMLS. So many of the people that you are familiar with, they're going to be the same people that are going to be here. They're just going to be representing CRMLS. So that was kind of a nice thing that we just learned very recently, that they hired those trainers to, you know, one, ensure they have jobs, but also I think the familiarity. And we got a lot of feedback, you know, where people wanted that relationship that they had with those trainers. So that's another good part of the team that's going to be here in San Diego.
So we want to talk about an offer that, okay, let's do the questions first. Yeah.
So what is the default if you fail to choose an association?
Where are you now?
Here.
Then you'll stay here. Your association doesn't change. Your MLS default will be CMLS. Using Paragon that you're using today, you won't notice any difference. It is the same Paragon.
You just don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything. For that group, don't do anything. The one day you have to click the one box yes on the user's license agreement, that's it. Okay?
So am I right in assuming that Sandacor will just coexist with this other system as well?
Sandacor will not. San Diego MLS will have a data share, right, like it does today, so that you'll put your listing in one or the other and it'll be fed throughout.
So except for the employees that are going to be hired by CRMLS from Sandacor, does Sandacor just go away or what?
Sandacor, as we know, will cease to exist on the 19th.
Okay.
Yes, there'll be SDMLS or CMLS. Those will be your two options.
Okay.
Will you be holding this class again for my broker and other people who missed out?
They've helped so many.
I don't think you
We'll go whatever we can. We've been to offices all over the county.
Oh, so you'll come to my office if I arrange it? Okay.
Can I just say a few things? Because I want to address, you know, what you brought up as well. I was president of North County when the lawsuit was filed in 2016. It was January 14th. I was into my position 2 weeks, and here we go. And so here I am now. A lot of what we had done before in the symposiums, we didn't just make this up, and I was one of the negotiators that sat down and negotiated this, that wanted to ensure that we did not disrupt your business. So we negotiated a deal to have this be as smooth as possible, as well as have the additional benefits of CRMLS. So what I want to share with you, and some of you may have been there, when we had the symposiums, we had 200 people in a room. They were our members, and we asked them. Chris did the presentation on how did we get to where we are with Zillow, that you work hard to get your listing, get all the information, and then it's on Zillow, appearing as though somebody else is listing and calling them, right? You know, a lot of frustration and that type of stuff going on. There's a lot of frustrations in this business. They're what you're expressing. But what happened was, I personally asked, what do you guys want? Do you want it statewide or do you want to keep it local? You know, the data. And I'll tell you, everybody but maybe 2 people had their hands raised. So this is a result of what we have heard overwhelmingly, that they want to have access to the data, as Chris had said, that their clients have. And it's happening. I mean, we are starting, especially in North County in particular. Where does it begin? Where does it end? I have a client, I start showing them properties in Escondido, and we end up in Temecula. Next thing I know, I'm representing them in Temecula, having to join another association. And this eliminates that. I don't have to belong to that one and have them inputted incorrectly, which they did, wrong address, things like that. But we're responding to what our members told us that they wanted. And so I wanted to share that with you, because we've heard that from other people and their different philosophies. the thing that I want you to know is that when we negotiated with SDAR, and it happens to be a very, very good friend of mine that was with SDR, and that's where I came from, and PSAR, when we negotiated this, the absolute first and foremost was what's good for our members, what's gonna help their business. So the result of all of that and everything that we negotiated is giving you a choice for you to do what's best for your business. So if what's best for you is to do Boomtown or whatever they're doing, that's great. We're not
But
here.
it's the expense and that I saw what SDAR is doing
And
and
you
what
have
is
that
very
choice.
similar to
Yeah.
Sync.
Yeah.
And I used Sync before, and when I used Sync, I realized, wow, I've been missing this the whole time, but I went back in a management position with my other brokerage in Harcourts and went back.
Yeah.
Because because my
Do you-
broker wanted me back.
Okay, I understand that.
And, you know, this system, you're meeting so many people, when you can just go add lead, put name, put them on a drip, done, and then you can see what they're looking at, so, cause they may tell you they're looking at a $600,000 house, which happened the other day, but the guy is actually looking at 3 to 4 million in Rancho
So I
Santa Fe.
appreciate your passion for that product. The one thing I can tell you is that CRMLS listens to us. They did about the rules, they've done it with a number of things, and if they have that and that's good for you, then that's great.
Yeah, but I don't have it at my firm that I'm at now. That's the
So-
thing, and it's a very
so
expensive
getting off-
product, it's
getting off-
$1,300
Do you
a
guys
month.
understand what I'm saying as
Yes,
far as
yes,
what we're, I
yes.
just wanted you to understand that we have worked very hard, me personally, since January of 2016, to bring this to you and present it to you. There are gonna be things that are better. They have a system set up, they listen. They evaluate, they're the largest MLS in the country, so they're doing something right. So those are things that, one-on-one, let's talk about and see if that's something actually, Chris would be the one you'd wanna talk to. I wanted you to understand philosophically, and normally I'd open with kind of this, how did we get to where we are? But I wanted you to understand that this isn't, we want you guys to be successful in your business, and that's what this has been about.
And just to, I don't want to belabor this, but working up where when I moved from LA, I moved to Fallbrook and I'd never heard of a septic system. I got 2 acres and they say, you're gonna build your house over this corner. I said, what? Right? We have private roads. I said, what does that mean? So that means that you fix the potholes, right? I mean, all kinds of things that coming from the city, you don't deal with. It's extremely frustrating for me, and I've been doing this since 1980, that in Fallbrook in March, 70% of the transactions that closed escrow were from an out-of-area broker that did not have an office in Fallbrook or Bonson.
Right.
And half of the listings, 50% of the listings, were represented by people who don't understand rural. I mean, they don't even know what a septic system is, and they're representing a seller. That's happening already. I can't stop it. I wish I could. I'd love to go back to '93. Fallbrook had its own MLS, and you didn't come up there unless you paid our dues, and heck, right? You said you're not even welcome. But I can't change that. What we were trying to do right now is just provide you with the tools that you can compete, right, in this ever-changing growth. So hang on, let me say, you got a question here.
So back to the practical issues. So starting next Wednesday, we can either log on through CRMLS to Paragon or to CRMLS.
And you go through nsdcr.com.
Okay.
Yes, and you'll be able to, well,
Okay, so is there any kind of transition period with an overlap so that we can still access Paragon while learning? Or it's just like one or the other?
no,
once
that's a
we-
loaded question, and that really takes us deep. Let me talk to you after. Does anybody else have a question on that? Because that'll really take us off.
Okay.
I'll be happy to answer the
It's gonna
question.
be a side
Well, like you
conversation,
were
what
saying
he's saying,
earlier,
he's not
about
inviting more
contacts
dialogue
in
about
Santa
it.
Clara,
Yeah.
maybe my new
Yes.
ones, I could go
Both
in
of you
the
had
other
made
one.
mention
My old one,
about,
yeah.
Zillow and their bots or their spiders or whatever they are that grabs your listing as soon as you put it into the MLS in the way we've always done it. And then it gets sold to, 18 other Zillow premium agents that are now gonna, say, call me
Who
to
pay the
find out.
extortion fees.
So are
Yeah.
you saying that with CRMLS, that's not gonna happen any
No.
longer?
And let me
Yeah,
say
we're
this.
there.
As a director of Sandacor, we had the responsibility to try and negotiate a direct feed with Zillow. Sandy Core was one of the few MLSs in the country that didn't have a direct feed, which meant that their listings didn't automatically go to Zillow.
Right.
Zillow had to go to each broker and negotiate their own contract, and they hated that because it's a lot of work, a lot of maintenance. Personally, I didn't ever want them to get it.
Right.
But we had so much input from brokers saying, I want to have that product,
Right.
and because you're not having the direct feed, I have to negotiate this, and I can't negotiate as good a deal as Sandicore can
Right.
because of our size. So I was on a task force that spent probably 18 hours negotiating with Zillow over a year. Sat down with a VP for 6 hours in a room one-on-one and asked them questions, a lot of questions that they didn't have answers for, or wouldn't do what we wanted them to do. What CRMLS has negotiated, we ended up having to give them a direct fee, and we did the best we could to try and give you a license agreement that was at least palatable. The whole idea of giving Zillow the stuff that they own forever, right? Their goal was to take over. There's no reason for an MLS.
Right.
If they have all the data, all the pictures, they're building their own national database.
Right.
Do away with MLS.
Purple, whatever,
Red.
red brick, red pin, whatever you have, they're taking what we've worked for, and now it's automatic, and now they're saying, oh, you don't have to pay.
I got a whole other slideshow. We talk about, I mean, I
So
spent an
that's a
hour, and
big
it's
deal.
really fascinating. You guys would be blown away
Big
by
deal.
who the founder of Zillow was, right? Same guy that started Expedia.
Yeah.
How many travel agents do you know today?
None.
Okay.
None.
But I could spend an hour talking about that. Let me finish your question.
Yes.
We end up having to negotiate something with them, so it's a direct fee. However, it's an opt-in, which means as the broker, right, at Sandicore, as the broker, you can determine if your listings go to Zillow or Homes.com or any of those other sites on a brokerage level. You can choose not to do that. They don't automatically get fed. You have to opt in.
Right.
CRMLS has taken it a step more because of their size. Again, I don't want to harp on that. Because of their size, they negotiated that the listing agent will always be on the top of the four-headed monster. Okay. Now, you still, unless you're paying extortion fees, you're not going to have the stars and the bells and whistles, and the customer won't think you're the listing agent, but you're there at least. In addition to that, they negotiated that they can take it down to the agent level if the broker decides. As a broker, I can give authority to my individual agents to say, if you want to put your stuff on Zillow, you can. And if he's an agent too, you can put your stuff on Zillow. At Sandicore, the best we could do was the broker determines it for all of the agents. Okay, so there is a direct fee, but you have to opt in to do that. Now, the other thing that they did is one of the big, in my opinion, fallacies that SDR was promoting was that the data is worth millions of dollars, right? Why would we give it away because it's worth so much money? Well, as you saw from Remind, right, there's a billion data points out there. These companies are getting our data, our listing data, whether we want them to or not. They're scraping it, they're getting it from everywhere. They're not paying people for it. CRMLS negotiated whatever they're able to charge. If Zillow or a moving company or whoever wants access to the MLS information, whatever Zillow, I got them in my brain now, you got me off track. Whatever CRMLS negotiates as a fee for that data comes back to the broker in the form of a check. CRMLS doesn't keep a dime of it. So if they can go to Zillow and negotiate X thousands of dollars, right, for access to data, the brokers who have the listings get a check from CRMLS at the end of the year. So they put their money where their mouth is. Whatever you guys have, whatever your inventory, whatever your work product is worth, you get compensated, not the association for the MLS. That's a whole different philosophy. Yeah.
So basically CRMLS is saying, hey, look, we got Julia, Zillow, Redfin all taking our information and using it, so we need to get bigger and offer more products to our agents and be able to combat the outside people from coming in.
As best as possible.
As best as possible. I mean, you can't stop everything, but you're saying we're going to make the MLS bigger with more members so we can offer more products and give our agents more tools to be successful out there in a competitive world.
Thank you. Yes.
Right?
But there's
Exactly.
more, but there's
Yeah.
more to it, and I wanna share, the more is the philosophy. And the philosophy and the checks that they're sending is actionable of their philosophy that the data belongs to you. And that was where we got into a difference of opinion at Sandacor. We believe the data belongs to you. We aligned with CRMLS, who aligns with CAR's philosophy that the data belongs to you. You do the work, and that's what this fight has been about. We support that. They also, I was digging to look for it, there's 3 of them, but one of the other ones is that they believe in providing as much information, what you're saying, to you for your success as well. I don't remember the exact wording, but these are philosophies that come from CAR. We're both CAR directors. We go to the meetings and there's a lot of discussion about this, so it's not just here. It is, throughout the state, and that is a lot of why that evolved. And they believed in that a while ago when they started seeing it going in the direction. But the data, that was a big issue. And a difference of philosophy, and more aligned with CRMLS's philosophy.
Okay, so this stuff back here, what CRMLS does is they actually have a group of members who looks at all the great technology out there. Anything that's submitted says, hey, let's take a look at it, and does it make sense for our members, right? And if a product like Remind gets introduced to them, and they say, wow, this is great, they negotiate a great price for you, and they offer it to the members. If something that they've offered, if one of these products up here, after a year of being used, gets like a 2% adoption rate, they say, why would we continue to spend our resources when no one's using it? So that goes off the board so that something else can come on that's the newest, latest, and greatest, right? So they're always looking at whatever technology that they think can benefit their 150,000 members. If they believe that, they'll offer it, because they can negotiate a better price, I guarantee you, than someone who's got 10,000 members, right? So all it has to be is if you say, here's something I would love to have, you come to me, because I'm actually that person right now on the transition committee. I submit it to the group at CRMLS, and they say, let's take a look at it. Have them come in and do a presentation that makes sense. We'll offer it as a benefit. Okay?
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because they shared when CRMLS was doing these presentations, they shared that showing time, they went, that's never gonna be any good. And it was the biggest success that they had had. So they don't really know until they do it.
They offer that.
You guys are the ones, I mean, if you use it, that speaks volumes, and that's where they'll keep it, and that's where they'll squelch it if there's no response.
Yeah. Yes.
For our business, the reason there is popularity for Zillow and Redfin, what I'm hearing from my clients, they're easy to understand. They're very, very, they give them the information they seem to want. What's going on with Realtor.com? I try and tell them that Zillow doesn't always have the most accurate information. Go to one of our sites that is more accurate, timely. What's going on with Realtor.com as far as providing information to the layperson, the buyers?
Zillow went public in 2006. At that time, Realtor.com was the #1 website for real estate in the country. There wasn't even a #2. It was Realtor.com, and that was it. The problem is, at the time, Realtor.com was basically owned by the National Association of Realtors. It's a trade organization. It's not a business. It has over 800 directors on its board.
Wow.
Try and run a business. The board sets policy, vision, right? 800 directors to agree on anything, much less how to run a website and be competitive. Most of those directors have been in the business for 50 years, and their mentality is, well, it's always been done this way. We don't have to make a change.
I'll be sure to tell them you said that.
No wonder. No wonder.
So they decide at that level that we don't have to make a change. We don't have to offer a great website. We don't have to put for sale by owners on there, or sold, or whatever that information they want to have, because we control it. There's nobody that can challenge us. We've always done it this way. Zillow comes out with $1 billion in VC money, with 6 board of directors, some pretty smart guys, right? who say, we're gonna build what the consumer wants. Whether it's accurate or not, doesn't matter.
Right.
And I'll tell you, sitting with the VP of Zillow, this close, asking questions. Here's the questions I asked. Do you have a system in place to verify that the properties that you are showing on your website are active or not? He said no. I said, well, if we give you our direct feed, will you put a system in place so that we can make sure it's at least accurate? He said no. He said, do you have a system to verify that the property is even for sale?
No.
No. Will you put something in place? No. It gets worse. If it can possibly get worse than that. So I said, your inventory, I mean, as a broker, I'm the one that gets phone calls from an angry consumer that says, why are you advertising my house for sale? I bought it 18 months ago.
Right. I get the same.
I said, I'm not. They said, oh yeah, it's on Zillow, it's your name on it. I said, I didn't put it there, right? They got it from another source. I can't take it down, I have no authority. Right? They don't care. They get paid by eyeballs. They sell ad revenue. The more eyeballs on their site, the more they can charge for revenue. So at the time, it was estimated that about 30 to 40% of the inventory that they showed on their website was not for sale. They have a financial incentive not to make it that way, right? Because if they took that off, lower eyeballs, lower revenue. It's crazy. They wouldn't do anything to ensure that it was accurate because it took money out of their pocket. They don't care. There's estimates. If you live in a tract that's got 3 models and it's lots of sales, it's pretty straightforward on this estimate. They've admitted publicly, I don't know, we got to talk about Zillow.
I don't know,
In
but
Fulbert,
I'm
they
gonna
can be as
answer
much as
your
40% off. They don't care. They built what the consumer wanted, and that's where they're going. Right? Realtor.com finally was sold. The National Association sold their interest to Rupert Murdoch, who owns Wall Street Journal and Fox News. And they've been running it for 4 or 5 years now. So NAR has nothing to do with it. It's not our website.
All right, so let me say something. So this is what the symposiums were about. It was about educating.
Got me fired up.
No, but it's good, right? It really helps to know this stuff.
Go, Chris.
So let me answer your question. Your question about Realtor.com, it was sold, it's no longer belongs to our organization. They turned it over to them to run it and do whatever. As he said, you know, NAR didn't really operate as a business. But what the effort has been that we did share at the symposiums was Upstream and HomeSnap, and that is an effort that has been going on. I don't know how well they're doing, but supposedly to be able to create a site that we can drive the public to and get them away from Zillow, because that's what you're asking, right?
Exactly what I'm
So that was Upstream and HomeSnap. They selected HomeSnap. You can correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but HomeSnap was the product that they felt, the brokers felt, was the best platform for them, friendly, and people who I know who use it. So that's what that effort is. I would love to, you know, once this stuff is settled, is to make that more pronounced, because I think the more we use it, the more we go in the direction of having a site that we can drive the public to and get them away from Zillow and Redfin and some of the others. But shame on us for letting that happen, and they created a great product. Their advertising is great, the product was great, people say it's easier to use. Yeah, they're right.
We just need to be better and easier.
Exactly.
Our industry
So that's
did it to
what's going
ourselves.
on.
Right? We did it to ourselves. And we have nobody to blame but ourselves.
No, I agree.
My preference today is still, if you have to use a third-party site, at least use Realtor.com, because it has direct feeds from most MLSs. It still has our name in the brand, it's still Realtor. Their ads on TV still show use a Realtor,
And it's
right?
accurate.
Completely different, well, it's a whole lot better than Zillow's is, right? They're trying to completely cut you out of the picture. But until there's a viable option, think about how much money, Zillow hasn't made a profit yet. They've had 1 profitable quarter since 2006. They're still not making money. Did you know that Zillow is now a